As far back as I can remember, there has always existed the enthusiastic desire in my family to record the events of our lives in photos and then in movie, film, and video. My father, Miguel Segay Sr., was almost a fanatic in this regard and left us, his children, a wonderful legacy of images that has immortalized most stages of the development of our family history. I inherited that enthusiasm and began recording my own images as early as my teen years. Then later, I continued recording with both movie film and later video. This Christmas compilation includes images captured by my father of holiday celebrations in 1967, 1968, and 1969, during the very first decade of our family's stay in Erie, Pennsylvania, right after immigrating from Cuba to the United States. It also includes images of later Christmases and winter scenes from the early 1980s, taken by both my father and myself in Pittsburgh and at the Council of Three Rivers American Indian Center. For my parents, especially my mother, raised in a warm tropical climate, the harsh, snowy, lake-effect winters of Erie lost their novelty fairly quickly. But for us kids, the heavy snow accumulation of the northern United States held out lots of fun possibilities. Even after a hard hour of work shoveling out the driveway with the help of local neighbor boy Ricky Alberico. And then, what better way to unwind than a snowball fight? For Papi, the Christmas season of 1968 was a real treat. He filmed everything that moved with his new Super 8 camera and then created interestingly edited animations for the introductions of his holiday images. Few things more exciting than bringing in the freshly cut fir, which brought a fabulous aroma of evergreen into the house. My little sister Rosa helped me carry the tree in through the kitchen door. Of course, Papi caught every step of the action on film as we put the finishing touches of trimming and decorations on the tree. Mommy's strong Catholic faith required a moment of prayer before the traditional Cuban Christmas Eve Nochebuena meal. After 7 years in the United States, we had left behind the January Three Wise Kings gift-giving tradition of Cuba and had adopted the North American Christmas morning package opening ritual. Beside her fancy Spanish comb and mantilla shawl, Santa brought Mommy a violin that year. She discovered that inside It had the name Stradivarius inscribed on the label. This was the source of a great deal of excitement for a while in the house, although by the look of this footage Consuelo appeared less than impressed. Alas, it was later verified that this was not, in fact, a genuine Stradivarius. Of course, Papi's reward for having stayed off of Santa's naughty list that year was a brand new film editor on which he could spend hours cutting footage and pasting it back together again. Papi and Mommy decided to reminisce about their wedding by checking out an old photo of the 1950 event. Rosa got a long stuffed toy snake whose soft, furry texture was perfectly to her liking. I guess Papi was really enjoying filming that furry snake. The Christmas decorations in the lobby of downtown Erie's Boston store provided the perfect background for a little more footage of my pretty little sis in her holiday clothes. Papi and Mommy always set up a life-size nativity scene outside at the front of the house. The three wise kings earned the reputation of being the guys on 24-hour duty because they stood guard outside the front door day and night throughout the whole holiday season. That Christmas morning, we got a visit from one of my dad's adult college students, Mr. Max Murray. Because my parents never really learned to pronounce his Irish name correctly, we kids never knew him by any other name than Mr. Murray. Mr. Murray was a pretty accomplished amateur guitarist and would often help Consuelo find her way around the instrument. She had already been playing the piano for years, even back in Cuba, so another musical instrument came easy to her. I had not yet discovered my own ability with the guitar yet. Even after I did years later, I never really caught up to my talented younger sister. To Rosa, it seemed perfectly natural to start a game of Operation while Consuelo's guitar strummed softly in the background. Santa had brought me a brand new set of acrylic paints. and I busied myself putting the finishing touches on a painting with a Grecian theme. Erie, Pennsylvania counts as one of its attractions a long, narrow peninsula that juts out into Lake Erie, several miles west of Niagara Falls, New York. The peninsula usually goes by its old French name, Presque Isle. A ride out to Presque Isle Park with its sandy beaches is usually reserved for a warm summer day, but a ride during the winter can be interesting also to check out the ice fishermen. The high snowbank created by the snowplow that cleaned the street was a handy site to create a fun ice cave for Rosa to climb in and out of. Tio Ramon emigrated to the United States that year from Cuba via Spain, and of course he also was a wonderful guitar player. It's a little difficult not to take up this instrument under these conditions. During his first ever visit to Erie that winter, Tio Ramon had an opportunity to meet Papi's boss, Dr. Peterson, and a Spanish teacher colleague, Mary Luz Calise. Later during his visit, Tio Ramon was treated to a ride out to Presque Isle. A moment of contemplation before the photo of Doña Nestora, Papi's mom, created a topic of conversation between the two brothers and my mother. This was followed by a trip down to the public dock, where ships come in and out the Great Lakes. Not long after Tio Ramon left Erie, we were invited to the home of Mariluz Calice's very Italian mom, Mamalina, for a traditional Italian holiday meal. The years passed as they always do. Papi's three children grew up and got married and had children of our own. Here's a photo of my own wedding with Lenny Rodriguez at City Hall, West New York, New Jersey, June 5th, 1976. Just a few years later, Papi was busy again documenting important family Christmas happenings. By this time, my son Miguel III, Cha, and his cousins Monique and Eddie had joined the party. All three moms were present for the fun, of course. Consuelo, Rosa, and Lenny, and my mom. Everybody having a good time. By now, I had gotten my own movie camera and was taking videos, actually films, of my son at his other grandparents' house, Israel and Lolita Rodriguez in West New York, New Jersey. Israel and Lolita gave him drums. I guess they must have foreseen what he was going to be when he grew up, a percussionist. Rudolph the red-nosed reindeer had a very shiny nose, and if you ever saw him, you would even say it glows. All of the other reindeer used to laugh and call him names. They never let poor Rudolph join in any reindeer games. Then one foggy Christmas Eve, Santa came to say, Rudolph, with your nose so bright, won't you leave my sleigh tonight? And all the reindeer loved him as they shouted out with glee, Rudolph the red-nosed reindeer, you go down in history. It's beginning to look a lot like Christmas everywhere you go. Take a look and find a tin, listening once again, with candy canes and silver lanes aglow. It's beginning to look a lot like Christmas. Toys in every store. But the prettiest sight to see is the holly that will be on your front door. Pair of hop-along boots and a crystal that cheeks is the wish of Barney and Ben. Doc will talk and we'll go for a walk is the hope of Janice and Jen. And Mom and Dad can hardly wait for school to start again. It's beginning to look a lot like Christmas everywhere you go. There's a tree in the Grand Hotel, one in the park as well, a sturdy kind that doesn't mind the snow. It's beginning to look a lot like Christmas. Soon the bells will start. And the thing that will make them ring is the carol that you sing right within your heart. Meanwhile, back in Erie, Papi and Mommy had stumbled onto the cutting-edge video game technology of the 1970s, Pong. Santa was high-tech that year.
Just hear those sleigh bells jingling, ring, ting, tingling too. Come on, it's lovely weather for a sleigh ride together with you. Outside the snow is falling and friends are calling you. Come on, it's lovely weather for a sleigh ride together.
By 1983, my wife Lenny and I had been living in Pittsburgh for about 6 years, since having moved here from Erie. Our son Cha was born in Pittsburgh in 1979. We had initially moved to Pittsburgh to join the Council of Three Rivers American Indian Center. On the holidays in those days, there were wonderful family gatherings at the Indian Center, with all the children participating in close-knit community celebrations. There was often even a member of the Indian Center playing the role of Santa.
Come on, it's lovely weather for a sleigh ride together with you. There's a birthday party at the home of Farmer Gray. It'll be the perfect end of our birthday day. We'll be singing the songs we love to sing without a single stop. At the fireplace where we'll watch the chestnuts pop. Pop, pop, pop. There's a happy feeling nothing in this world can buy. When they pass around the coffee and the pumpkin pie. It really looks like shipwreck by Maria and I. These wonderful things are the things we remember after our lives. These wonderful things are the things we remember after our lives. Jingle, jingling, ring, ting, tingling too. Come on, it's lovely weather for a sleigh ride together with you. Outside the snow is falling, and friends are calling you. Come on, it's lovely weather for a sleigh ride together with you. Giddy up, giddy up, giddy up, let's go. you'll recall the most famous reindeer of all. Rudolph the red-nosed reindeer had a very shiny nose, and if you ever saw him, you would even say it glows. All of the other reindeer used to laugh and call him names. They never let poor Rudolph join in any reindeer games. Then one foggy Christmas Eve, Santa came to say, Rudolph, with your nose so bright, won't you leave my sleigh tonight? And all the reindeer loved him as they shouted out with glee. Rudolph the red-nosed reindeer, you'll go down in history. Rudolph the red-nosed reindeer had a very shiny nose, and if you ever saw him, you would even say it glows. All of the other reindeer used to laugh and call him names. They never let poor Rudolph join in any reindeer games. Then one foggy
Esa negrita que va caminando, esa negrita tiene su tumbao. Y cuando la gente la va mirando, ella baila de lado, bien apretado, apretado, apretado. La negra tiene tumbao. Azúcar, azúcar, y no camina de lado. Si quiere llegar derecho, mejor camina de frente.
In the early 80s, a number of Cubans who had come over in the Mariel boat lift settled in the Pittsburgh area. Juan Carlos, Mario Hidalgo, Juan Pablo, Tony Montano. We finally had found our people. We celebrated several holidays, including Christmas, with our new friends from Havana, from Matanzas, from all over Cuba. It was a good time.